Hey everybody, we're out here on Bull Shoals today. It's February, it's the dead of winter, it's cold, the water's cold. We're gonna go out there and show you some of our favorite techniques, catching them deep on a highland reservoir. It seems to me like on a highland reservoir like here, these fish are just, all they think about are shad. Here we have threadfin, and that's just what controls them this time of year. No matter where the shad go, the fish are gonna follow. So step number one, get in the middle of these drains, creeks, ditches, and track down the shad. And once you do that, it's time to put your trolling motor down, and use your LiveScope to look around and find the fish that are actively eating. So today we're out here, we're LiveScoping fish out in the middle of these drains around the shad, and they're super deep. And if you've played with LiveScope much, you know that speed is key. It means heavy baits, heavy weights, big jig heads. Well, we're kind of let the cat out of the bag on something that's been a secret here in the Ozarks for a while and has been absolutely one of my #1 tools for about the past year and a half, 2 years. And that's a Rapala Flat Jig. This is a number 6. This bait's 1 ounce and 3/16. I still use the regular 7/8 Jigging Rap, but they both have their place. Very specific situations. When the fish are 40 feet and shallower, I like that Jigging Rap, but today when they're as deep as they are, this flat jig is the way to go. You can definitely snipe them with this thing. I mean, it gets their attention and there they come. Oh. See if you can flip that Demiki on them now. They're all fired up. There he is. There's a nice largemouth there. Look at that one. Now that's what we're looking for. Out here in the middle of the lake, chasing around, good largemouth with the flat jig, getting them all excited and they're putting it in their throat. Yeah, people don't think of a bait like this as, like a complete reaction bait, but that's all it is. Once you're looking around and you start to find, these big schools of bait, you're wanting to see this right here, these game fish that are swimming around, physically eating the shad. It's super important to make the perfect cast. If your bait does not land in the perfect spot, you're not gonna get anywhere near him. I mean, you may be 20 feet away from the fish, and when there's only one like there is here, it's very, very specific. You can't miss them by a foot. You have to hit them right on the head. Because this bait is 1 ounce and 3/16, you can get it down there immediately. I mean, it is fast. It doesn't have a slow twirl and fall. It drops straight just like a rock, and when you're LiveScoping fish this deep, that's what I want, that's what I'm looking for. I want to get it in their face as fast as I can. But also, as soon as it gets down there, you can stop it, and it's got awesome action. This bait darts around super fast. Oh, he's all fired up. Yeah, there's another one with him coming up behind him. I got one chasing me, you're falling on the other one. Yep, boy, he's still after me. When his buddy sees it, it's on. Boy, this buddy's coming to check out the boat instead. Well, that one knocked it. What a big old sissy. There he is. Not a big one, but a keeper. Skinny. He's not very good at his job to be so skinny out here around all these shad. Yeah, a lot of people wonder, how do you know where to cast? And basically what you're looking for is, my transducer is mounted on my trolling motor shaft and it's lined up directly in front of my trolling motor head. So wherever I see that arrow pointing is exactly where I need to cast. And I've had enough time using the unit that I kind of learned my distances. And the cool thing is like I've got mine set up where I can actually see my bait splash, and I'm really able to just watch what's going on and I don't have to question myself. And these numbers right here are telling you how far out in front of us we're looking, and these numbers right here are telling you how deep the fish are. So you can kind of use those as a reference, so you know exactly how deep your bait is and how far down you're fishing. Well, here comes a good group of them. This water's cold enough now that it seems like you can get these fish's attention whenever you know, your bait's moving around really fast, but it seems like they really don't want to commit to it until it's holding still. And whenever you hold that thing still, they'll swim right up underneath it and just come up and suck it in. All right, here we go. We're coming right down to them, fixing to watch that school explode when they see it. Here they come. Well, they're all over it. Oh, man, they're going crazy. There he is. Oh, I lost him. I'm gonna just let it fall right back down in the middle of all of them. Here they all come again. They're about 35 feet, man. There he is. See him getting drug out of the school right there? Another giant white bass.
You will have large ones pretty commingled often?
Yep, they all live together. That flat jig in his throat. Just giant white bass. Big old heavy flat jig, big old heavy white bass. So cadence when you're fishing these flat jigs is very important, but it's not one of those things where I can just say, hey, you know, you've got to hold it still, or hey, you have to really work it aggressively. It's something that you're going to have to pay attention to the mood of the fish that day. It seems like in the warmer temperatures you are able to really work it fast and get them excited and they bite really well. But days like today, you know, they're not crazy aggressive. So unless I'm seeing a big school of fish, if I'm just seeing singles and doubles, I'm probably gonna drop it down there, get their attention with it, and then probably hold it still and let them come check it out. There's my bait splash the water. Here it is racing down. You can see that flat jig just flying. It doesn't waste any time getting down to him. Here we go. We're gonna drop right on his head. I'm gonna stop it there right above him. Here he comes up to it. He's chasing me. Now that I've got him interested, I'm gonna hold it real still and let him come get it. Oh, see, oh, he's still after it. Golly, he's knocking it. He's still chasing it really hard. Oh man, I hooked him. I don't know if he'll bite again. You know, it seems like whenever you're using LiveScope, the biggest mistake I see people make is, you know, if they see their bait falling and their bait's kind of like it is right there, but they can't see the fish in the same picture, you know, just reel it in. Don't waste your time. If you can't see your fish and your bait all in the same picture, you're not going to be close enough to them to get their attention anyways. So you're better off just reeling in, you know, and making a good cast. Sometimes I'll throw out the same groups of fish, you know, 4, 5, 6 times until I make it the perfect cast. Well, here comes a good school coming at us. They're all over my flat jig though. They're all coming up, so you may hook one too.
That's about the buddy dynamic.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Boy, it's a big old giant white bass. If you've got 2 guys, you know, and you catch one, you can go ahead and start dropping down on your buddy's line and hook up just like this. Oh, did he come off? Man, the flat jig gets them all. It doesn't matter the species, you know, it just, it mimics a shad and every fish that swims in the lake like them. You can see the rest of that big school of white bass right there. Oh, there's another one. Got him. Well, there's a nice largemouth there. Got him on the flat jig. That fish, you know, he wasn't all that deep, but he was only about 30 feet down. But as soon as that flat jig landed in front of him, he got all excited and I popped it twice and it was in his mouth. So my go-to setup when I'm fishing a flat jig, I like, you know, a 6/8 medium heavy rod. I like one that's got a little bit of a tip for whenever the fish are down there pretty deep. You don't just jerk them up really fast because you can hurt them if you're not careful. Catching them at these depths, it's pretty smart to go ahead and reel them up soft when you do get them hooked. So that's why I like a rod that's got quite a bit of bend. I use 12-pound fluorocarbon. Reel speed doesn't make a ton of difference. I use just your typical 6/3-1, you know. The main reason I use fluorocarbon on the jigging rap is basically because of the rate of fall. It's going to not affect your bait as much as monofilament or braid would. See him coming out of the tree looking at it again. Here come two of them. There he is. Afraid that may be a crappie. Yep. Everything eats this thing. Every species. The funny thing about chasing fish like this, these fish live more like stripers, you know. They don't have a home, they don't have a specific place they set. They are basically just roaming with the bait. They stay swimming all the time. They don't ever sit still. So, you know, if you find some fish one week and you think you're gonna go back the next weekend and catch them off the same place, that's not always the story. So you just have to be really open to trusting yourself, trusting your electronics, and just taking the time to go look for new fish.